Hey guys, I think we are just waiting for a few people to get on and then I will get started. But tonight we're going to be talking about 10 tips for using your social media without feeling like you're selling. So I'm going to give you just 10 quick things you can begin to implement as you're sharing your story and what you have to offer people on social media that won't leave you feeling like a salesperson with a product in your hand all the time. So are you excited about that? I hope you are, because I know a lot of us in this business really want to do this business well. A bunch of people or anything like that. But we also are kind of like, well, how do I do that, right? So I'm going to share with you some of the things I've learned over the years. And I'll preface that by saying I did everything wrong at first too. But I'll be sharing with you a little bit about implement and how it feels a lot better to be sharing that way. So I'm going to give everybody just a minute to get on, and then we'll go from there. So sit tight. We will be right back. Let everybody know I'm on. Sorry for anybody waiting. We'll get going in a few minutes here. All right, so this is what we'll do. I will go ahead and get started. And I think we'll have some people jump on here in a minute. So, how this sort of came about. I became a Beachbody coach 2.5 years ago now. And when I first started, I was doing all the things, all the salesy people do. I was doing, you know, the stock images from Beachbody and, you know, thinking that I was just sharing my story, but really what I was just sharing was the company. And what I've learned in various trainings I've done over the years is that I'm going to get a lot more value and a lot better connection out of this process if I just start sharing me and allowing people to see what I'm doing, how I'm using these products, and allow them to know that there's a way that they can join me. So implementing some of these practices for myself, and things started to feel a whole lot better. And for those of you who don't know too much about what's going on in my life currently, I'm in a really tough situation personally. And long story short, I'm pregnant, we're pregnant. And we are facing a child with very severe deformities, chromosomal abnormalities. We have a lot of questions, and there's basically so far a 100% chance that stillborn. And it's a tough battle to be in the middle of right now. So I'm not going to go into all the details of that, but it's on my Facebook page if you kind of want to get an idea of what's going on for us. Is in sharing that over the last month, I have started to make a whole different level of connections, which has made this topic even more important to me and even more valuable to share with other people, because I really want people to have that same freedom and to understand that as you begin to just people really care so much more about what you have to offer too. I'm doing has increased along with what's going on with our story. Like, and I didn't honestly think anybody would care about our story. Not that they wouldn't care, but just that everybody's got stuff, right? Like everybody's got stuff going on in their life. So there wasn't really anything, not a lot of people face this, but I'm finding out that more people face this than I thought did. But they tend to miscarry or will choose to end the pregnancy. And so everybody's story is a little bit different. But long story short, I'm trying not to get too long-winded with this. Long story short is, as I've begun to share that more, people are connecting with me on a personal level that wasn't happening prior to this. And you don't have to have something bad and horrible happen to you to open yourself up to have deep relationships like that with people that follow you or new acquaintances that follow you, or just people you've met online. But you do have to implement some practices to foster that relationship and to keep it going well. So these are some things that I've started to do as I've changed the way I have some conversations, and as I've changed the way I've shared. Everything's well. It's like, I don't like putting my business out there. Well, that's okay. You don't have to be as vocal about it as I've chosen to be in this, but why? Like, why would you not share something that could leave a really deep and lasting impact on somebody else, I guess? I mean, and I don't want to like put you in a spot where, but we all have something to learn from each other. You can choose what level of depth you want to go in your story, but there's value in the painful things we go through when we open up and let people in. And that only happens when you're willing to go a little bit deeper. And when you're willing to just say, look, this is I'm in right now. I've been using that word a lot lately because that's kind of what it feels like. So anyways, I wanted to give you a little background on why this topic is a little bit more valuable to me, even more lately than it has been in the last year or so, that I've really been doing some social media training and learning how to more effectively brand myself in a way that people understand who I am. Yes, I'm a Beachbody coach, but the value is in who I am and how I choose to work with people. And they don't see that if I only ever share Beachbody and Beachbody products. They need to see me. They need to know who I am, what I believe, why I've chosen to make these choices for my life. Even in a really dark time in my life, this is something that adds value. It adds value to me and it adds value to others. So again, I'm just going to take you through 10 tips that you can begin to implement as you're using social media that will help you feel less like a salesperson and more like just a real person sharing like you would share with a girlfriend if you really loved something and wanted them to give it a try. So my first tip is really simple, and it's to avoid using product names. So you might be like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why wouldn't I talk about Shakeology if I want people to buy Shakeology? Well, because as soon as you say, oh, I'm drinking my Shakeology today, instead of somebody asking you a question about it, or say you don't even say Shakeology, well, maybe I'll get to this one later. We're using product names right now, and then I'll get into the other one later. As soon as you tell them exactly what you're drinking, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go get on Google and they're going to punch in Shakeology and they're going to read all about it and maybe see how great it is. But then what they're going to do is they're going to scroll to the bottom of the page and they're going to see the price tag and they're going to go, nope, I can buy that at Costco for $30. So, which they can't, and we know that, but they don't know that. So you have to put yourself in a position where people ask you what it is that you're consuming. So you could share something like this morning I put a post up and I was like, I'm so glad I've got breakfast on the go because I am running late. And I'm drinking Shakeology and I had it in like a cup that didn't say anything on it. And I just took a picture of that and I just shared it. I shared it in my story. I didn't share it on my page, but you know, that way people could be like, oh, what is that you're drinking, you know, rather than having them go do their own research and make their own decision without learning why it matters to you and how it could benefit them. So first tip, avoid using product names. Number 2 is always share a why. So when you're communicating something that you love, a product you'd like people to try, people need to understand to you or why you've chosen to do this or why you're even talking about it. So just all you need to do when you're getting ready to post something is go, why do I want to share this? What value is it going to add to people? So, you know, like I said, like the example with taking the picture of Shakeology without calling it Shakeology or having it in a Shakeology shaker cup, I was just able to share like that I love drinking this in the morning because I feel great and it's portable and I can take it with me and I can, you know, cart it around the house while I'm getting ready or take it in the car when I'm running late and it's my day. So that's one of the reasons why I consume Shakeology. Now, I'm not going to list out all 10 reasons necessarily why I'm choosing to drink it today, but it's snapshots. Like you're just dropping little snapshots and letting people experience what you're doing with you. So number 2, always share a why. So, and that goes for anything. That goes for if you want to share a post-workout selfie. Why are you sharing that? How did that workout make you feel today? What do you want other people to feel by joining you or making the decision to join you? To a why. Okay. And then number 3, avoid using product hashtags. So like for instance, don't go, I keep using Shakeology, but whatever, you don't want to hashtag our workout programs either. Because what's going to happen is you're going to come up when somebody searches that hashtag with a bunch of other Beachbody coaches. First of all, you don't want to connect. I mean, you want to network with other Beachbody coaches and do best practices and things like that. But you want to connect with people who aren't already in Beachbody. You want to connect with brand new people. And you don't want to just be in the muck of things. Like just struggling to figure out who you are amongst all these other people. So hold on one second. Sorry, somebody's messaging me. Yeah. About the call. All right, sorry. So let me get back to this. They're using the same hashtags that all the other Beachbody coaches are using. It doesn't set you apart, and it just basically continues to connect you with people who are already using Beachbody. So I would avoid using product hashtags. Number 4, allow people to see you, your story, your journey, your value beyond being a Beachbody coach. So that goes back to what I shared at the very beginning of this. You know, it's about allowing people to see a glimpse into who I am on a daily basis, aside from, yeah, I work out, yeah, I eat healthy, yeah, I drink Shakeology. People want to know, who's Jenny Morrow? So I have to be willing to talk about who I am and to see something aside from health, fitness, Shakeology, workout. Like they just need to be able to see who I am. So you need to go through and sort of pick 3 to 5 things that are just a vital component of who it is that you are. And in doing that, share those things so people can connect with you on a deeper level beyond just the fact that you're a Beachbody coach, because you were something before Beachbody. And now Beachbody is just part of who you are. You don't all of a sudden only become Beachbody. You've got to share beyond the company. You've got to share you. So allow people to see you. And in whatever capacity you're comfortable starting off sharing, just allow people to see you. It's really important that you do that. Number 5, always add value. So again, I've kind of alluded to this already. What will people walk away with after reading your post? It kind of goes back to that asking yourself the why question. But what you also want to do is like just reflect on why it is that you're sharing something. So rather than just posting your post-workout selfie because you know that's what you're supposed to do because that's what Beachbody coaches do, well, why is it important to you to share that with people? What do you want to inspire for somebody else that day? What do you want other people to walk away from reading your post? You know, like what is the experience you want them to have? What do you want them to know about you, or what do you want them to know about themselves? Do you just want to speak an encouraging word into their life that day? So always plan to add value with everything you're doing. Maybe you're sharing a recipe, a healthy recipe that you have made and love and you want them to know about because you want other people to get to experience eating healthy and still eating good food. You know, whatever it is, just add value when you approach social media. It's so much more fun that way. Do not use branded Beachbody imaging or stock photos off the Beachbody website because you're not Beachbody, you're you. So you want to use a photo of you doing the workout or a photo of you drinking your shake. And I would recommend that you don't do a photo of you holding a Shakeology shaker cup or the workout DVD. And again, I'm saying this and I've made all these mistakes. So it's not a big deal if you're making these mistakes right now. Just change your practices moving forward because you're going to find you get a different connection with people when they start to see you in this. So don't use stock photos. Get your own feel. Pick a couple of fonts you like, some colors you tend to like, and just sort of start to get consistent with how you're putting your message out there on social media. And as you do that, people will start to recognize like, oh, that's something, that's Jenny's. I know that's Jenny's. That's how she posts things. That's what her posts look like. You know, and the image should be like, it should stop them. So make it be something that stops their scroll and wants, like, people are going to see your photo before they read your caption. So if it's just a stock photo, they see a million of those all over Facebook and all over Instagram and all over media sites. Like, they're everywhere. So you just fall into like kind of a meshwork of what everybody else is doing when you do that. So no stock photos. Number 7, create curiosity. So this is something that Chalene Johnson introduced to us at Summit this year, was curiosity marketing. And by that, it's like, don't automatically answer questions in your commentary. Like, give them a reason to think about what you're saying that makes them want to ask you what you're doing. So instead of saying, I just started this new Shift Shop program and it totally rocks and you should totally do it with me. Nobody knows what Shift Shop is yet. So just talk about the fact that you're doing a really awesome, like if your post just was like, oh, I'm doing this awesome sports workout that kind of reminds me back of the days when I was an athlete, and it's speed and agility and strength, and it's really just taking me back to my athletic days and I love it. You know, like, share that so that they're like, oh man, I miss my high school glory athlete days. Like, what are you doing? Give them a reason to ask you something versus giving them, spoon feeding them all the information so they can go Google it themselves. Curiosity with your post. Describe all the things you love about it, but don't tell them that you're doing shift shop because that doesn't mean anything to them right now. Okay, that it's only going to mean something to them when they experience it for themselves. You can talk with them through a conversation. Like, I'm not trying to get you to deceive anybody with this. What I'm trying to say is get them to ask you questions so you can take the conversation and start to begin to talk to them like a regular person. And then you can explain, okay, so this program I talked about in my post is called Shift Shop, and this is how it's available for you. And you can break all that down once you've removed the conversation from an online platform or from a post or something like that, a public platform, and taken it into a private message with somebody. Curiosity, and you're going to get a lot more questions on your post rather than saying like, I had my Shakeology today, you know, like, to people, or they're going to be like, oh, I've already tried that stuff, or I've already heard about that stuff, or that stuff is too expensive, and they're going to throw all the objections at you before they really even understand it. So just get people wondering what you're doing. Really cool photos of your Shakeology. Like, Katie's been rocking at this lately. Like, put in a different type of glass and throw some fruit on top of it and take a photo of that with it next to the book you're reading, and get them to ask you some questions so that you can start a conversation with these people. It's not like you're never going to tell them that it's called Shakeology, but if you tell them in your post, you're going to lose them. They're going to know automatically you're there trying to sell them something. Let them interact with you and understand what it is so that they want to join you. I hope that's making sense. Number 8, reply to comments directly in a thread. So one thing I hate to see is when you post something, and not you like watching this, but when somebody posts something and their whole thread is people may be asking questions, and instead of them answering the question so other people can learn as they read that thread, they're like, I'll message you, or I'll message you. You should message people, but answer their question, whatever they comment, or if they just throw you some love back, and then be like, I sent you a message, did you get it? Or if they ask you a question, do your best to answer the question. I would still try to avoid using, but sometimes you just have to directly answer the question. That's okay too. But your goal is to develop a relationship with these people that are interacting on your post. Because if they're interacting on your post, they're interested in what you're doing. But you have to build a relationship with them and take it out of the public private message. But you start that by just engaging with them. And as soon as you start to engage with people in your comments, like, don't just throw a post up there and never go back and engage with the people that have commented. As soon as you start engaging them, the Facebook algorithm starts to put your stuff in each other's feeds, which means that they see you more often because you begin to interact on a more personal level. Like, Facebook's like that. So you just got to understand it. Interact with people so that other people see, like, oh, if I go comment on her stuff, she's going to get back to me. You don't want them to just think you're this person up there posting, and they could go ahead and throw a comment up, but you'll never interact with them. Like, that doesn't make any sense either. Not every post has to be a call to action type of post. So yes, you want to get people used to responding to you, but sometimes you can just share, because that's what social media is. We're all just sharing our lives, right? I mean, that's there. So not every post has to be like a comment below thing or something like that. If you are putting something up that you want people to take an action on, you need to be very specific about what you want them to do. Comment below, or leave your email, or send me a message, or whatever. It shouldn't be all of your posts. And want to generate content, throughout the week, give them something to think about, and then call to action. So like, ramp them up, like sort of start introducing them to what you're doing, and then, like this week, what I did a little bit of is I shared a couple of success stories throughout the week. And then towards the end of the week, I was like, so I've shared a couple of success stories this week. I'm looking for somebody who wants to be my next testimonial. That was a call to action post. But on the other ones, I was just kind of sharing the success that, and that they could do it too. I wanted them to walk away with an understanding of who I am, what I have to offer, what my clients are getting out of working with me, and the fact that they could do it too. When somebody reads a post that I put up, I want them to walk away with a sense of confidence that it's not just like this elusive thing that they could never accomplish, but that totally change their life too. So that's number 9. Not every post needs a call to action. And number 10 is paint a picture of what life could be like for somebody. So kind of ties into what I was just saying, like that they can do it too. You want to paint a picture, like what would life be like? And you do that by sharing your story changed for you. So if you ever don't know how to do that, it's really simple. You start with what it was like before, like during and since, and what you're hopeful for about the future. Like, what has this experience given you hope for? And paint, or paint a picture, like share a success story. Like this week, I shared a success story of a girl who's got, and I've been working with her for a little while now. And by making some nutritional changes and exercising daily, like she's seeing significant improvement in her health. Her doctor was impressed. And I just shared that, and I kind of painted a picture that like, you don't just have to live with this disorder and be like, I'm stuck on meds and gaining weight the rest of my life. You can do something that change. And, so by sharing that success story, I painted the possibility for somebody to in that, person's shoes and consider the fact that they could change their own life. I hope that's helpful. So those are 10 things. These are not the only 10 things you can do, but these are 10 things that I've come to find really valuable as I've become and developed deeper relationships with people, both friends and acquaintances on social media. That's just it's been really awesome. I've totally enjoyed it. It feels a lot better. It feels a lot less salesy. And, I fell in love with this right away. I love the whole system. And not everybody's like that, and I get that. But I really didn't have a problem sharing early on. I didn't struggle with that. I didn't second guess myself. Did do it all wrong because I did what I saw everybody else doing, and it didn't set me apart. My first few months, I had people wondering what I was doing and wanting to get started with me, but then I had to do the work. And the work was hard because people didn't know who I was. They just knew I was drinking a shake. And to learn and tell my story, it just became a little bit more natural and a little less sales. I mean, just where you're like, I've got this, like I've got something to share. I've got something of value, and other people will get something out of this if they choose to get involved, So that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. And that's what I wanted you to feel confident in beginning to implement for yourself. And hopefully relieve a little bit of the pressure of being a salesperson. Like that biggest objection when they get started is, I don't want to be a salesperson. So I don't want to flood my social media with a bunch of Beachbody posts. Well, flood your social media with you sharing your own experience throughout this journey. And if you just remove product names, and if you remove like ballsy stuff and just show who you are, show how this experience is affecting you, and share valuable to you, people will start to see the value for themselves. But they're not going to see it if you don't ever let them get a glimpse into your life. So there does need to be a willingness to open up, but there be sales. Like, I mean, okay, yeah, if you're going to be successful, you're going to need to sell some products, but you're not going to have to feel like a salesperson because you've learned the right way to do it. I really hope helps settle your mind and helps you feel like you can do this, you know, like just like I want to accomplish in my Facebook post, I want you to understand that you can do this. There's nothing crazy unique that I'm doing, and I'm not just relying on posts to drive my business either. I'm actively inviting people and having conversations. That's a different call. Just know that you can start to create a different feel with your social media that allows you to express yourself and share your story without constantly pushing product. Talking less about the product and sharing more about you, it feels a lot more natural. So that's why I wanted to come on and share with you tonight. I hope it's valuable. I hope you got something out of it. Have some things that you can implement and begin to just put into practice right away. You know, like that tomorrow you'd be confident creating a post that just reflects you and allow people to start connecting with who you are, not the fact that you're a Beachbody coach. Okay. It's an amazing thing that you're a Beachbody coach, but you were an incredible person before you were a Beachbody coach. And you need to see that, and you need to let other people see that. And when you can start doing that, things are going to change for your business. So tonight, I hope you have an awesome evening, and we will chat soon.